As you go through this process with you, your company, your associates, you need to think through some creative ways to reach out.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Welcome one, welcome all to the Appraiser Coach Podcast. My name is Dustin Harris. So good to be with you. So good to be with you. Folks, I know that a lot of you are struggling right now. Things have slowed down just a little bit as interest rates have come up. I want to share with you a couple of ideas that I hope that you will listen to, especially if you're a little bit freaked out about what's going on in the appraisal world. I think the ideas, the thoughts that I have for you today will be helpful. I want to pause and remind you that we are sponsored by some great companies, including, E&O through OREP. Folks, OREP is a brokerage. That means they have an opportunity and the ability to seek out quotes all over the nation, right? It's not just a single source, meaning you're going to get the best price. Check them out. Go to orep.org. That's OREP.org. We're sponsored by Spark for Appraisers. Of course, Spark is allowing you to get more done because it will import for you. Data entry no longer, folks. SparkForAppraisers.com is where you go. SparkForAppraisers.com. Finally, we're sponsored by Alamode, the software of choice for me and tens of thousands of appraisers across the nation. And there's a reason why they are the leader. Check them out by calling them at 800-ALAMODE or checking out their website at alamode.com. All right, folks, we've talked a lot on this microphone over the years about marketing. We've talked about this idea. Rule number one is to be known. Rule number two is to be known as the expert. What does that mean? It means you need to get yourself out there. You need to be known. You need to be the person or the company that a lender or a private individual thinks about when they need an appraisal. Right? When grandma dies and grandpa's already dead, and you've got some siblings fighting over an appraisal of a house or a value of a house, and somebody says, well, I need an appraisal done, you need to be the company of choice in your area that comes to mind. Call so-and-so. They're the people that get it done. You need to be that person. If a potential buyer comes to a realtor friend and says, hey, I'm looking at this house. I would really like to get an independent appraisal before I even start the process of getting a loan. Who would you recommend? You need to be the first person that rolls off the tongue of that real estate agent because you are known and known as an expert, right? Same is true, of course, with attorneys and bail bondsmen. And, of course, we mentioned realtors, but loan officers, right? Individuals that work at banks, these people all need appraisers. And you need to be the one that is known and known as the expert. Well, how do you become that person? Okay. How do you become the person that people think about? We've talked over the years about touches. Okay. Touches are simply a very quick and easy way to remind us that we need to be reaching out. We need to be networking. Okay. Touches can include many, many different things. Touches can be email, right? Reaching out via email. Touches can be a text message. Touches can be a phone call. Touches can be bumping into somebody at lunch and saying, oh, hey, Bob, been a long time. How are things? Yeah, things are good here at the appraisal office as well. We're doing such and such and such and such. That's a touch. Okay, going out of your way to reach out, right? Networking events, or hey, Bob, can I take you to coffee next Monday morning? Or hey, can I take you to lunch? These are all touches. These are all opportunities for you to be known and to be known as an expert. Touches don't have to be in person. As I mentioned earlier, they could be email, they could be text message, they could be phone calls, they could be a flyer, they could be a mailing, a postcard. There's a number of different things. And the idea behind touches is that you are constantly the squeaky wheel, right? You're constantly saying, hey, here I am, here's what I do, without being annoying about it. So there's a difference between touching and spamming, right? And I don't just mean spamming through email. I'm talking spamming in general. Okay, I'm talking about there gets to be a point with anybody that it just feels like a little bit too much. And you kind of have to feel that out and know where that line is. But I guarantee, folks, within the sound of my voice, 99% of you are way swung on the other side of that pendulum. Meaning, you're not coming anywhere close to being too touchable or too touching, as the case may be, right? You've still got a long way to go to get to the point that's like, okay, this guy's just becoming annoying, right? And so, as I talk today, remember that there are many ways to reach out. There's not one true way to reach out. And as you go through this process with you, your company, your associates, you need to think through some creative ways to reach out. Okay? I will tell you that one of the least best ways to touch is email. Okay? It's one of the least effective ways to reach out to people. And you know why. Think of yourself. Okay? Think of all of the companies that you do business with, all of the people that you have associations with. Okay? How many emails do you delete every day? Or just skip over, right? Some of you, I keep my inbox pretty clean. Many of you just leave it, say, I'm not interested, I won't even open it up. But how many of those emails come in, you take one glance at it, and it means absolutely nothing to you other than, that's kind of annoying. I mean, I've heard it from this company 3 times this week, right? And you get to the point that you finally just unsubscribe. I can tell you that email can be a very, very important part of your touches. I'm going to share with you one idea here in just a little bit. But the idea of touching has become more and more important over the years, meaning as we become a society who is disconnected from physically being in the same space, okay, and I think that we would all agree, especially since COVID, that has happened. Many of us are sequestered to our rooms, our offices. We might, venture out a little bit here and a little bit there. Of course, appraisers are a little bit different because we are still very much on site in many of these situations. And with that comes the opportunity to touch. Now, I'm just going to be completely blunt and completely honest with you regarding inspections, right? My least favorite inspection, because I am introverted, I truly am, is where someone's there. And my even less loving and wonderful inspection has to do with those where the realtor is there. I'll just be honest with you. Now, I know that many of you feel differently, and I respect that. My hat goes off to you. And trust me, folks, I absolutely see the value in having a real estate agent there. Okay, it does drive me nuts. I have to internally roll my eyes when I pull up and I see that a realtor showed up as well. Okay? But that being said, that's just me. That's a personal problem. Okay, I would rather just get in and out, do the inspection, get on to my next one. Okay, but I do absolutely see the benefit and the value of meeting with a real estate agent, taking time to answer their questions, taking time to talk a little bit about your business, right? It's not an upsell, it's not an infomercial, but you're there professionally. You're there to show them that you know what you're talking about, to help them. Inevitably, they're going to ask questions, right? They're going to say, hey, what's that? What you measure with that thing? Oh, yeah, it's a laser. Let me show you how it works. Do you do all of that work right there on your phone? I mean, how often do we have these questions, right? So what do you think is going on with the market? What do you think we can expect over the next couple of months, right? Or what do you think of this house? What are some things that you see as an appraiser that this house might be unique in, or something like that, right? We get these questions, and it is an awesome opportunity, even though it's not my favorite, it's an awesome opportunity to shine. It's an awesome opportunity for you to be the expert, to be known as an expert, to leave your business card. If you have any other questions, let me know. Oh, by the way, did you know that we often come to real estate offices and answer similar questions to the ones that you asked today? In fact, I was just at RE/MAX last week, and we talked about what happens when an appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price. I would love to give that same talk to your group over at Century 21. How about it? In other words, the marketing opportunity when you're out and about is wonderful. But I'm off in the weeds just a little bit. My point is this: those opportunities to interact personally, one-on-one, are much less typically now than they have been in the past. So what do you do to reach out? And let's start first, before we get into what do we do, let's first start with why. Right? Now, we talked a little bit about the importance of touches, the squeaky wheel, you need to be the person that people think of when it comes to appraisals, when it comes to valuation. Folks, I just had an opportunity just today to do this very thing, right? Actually, last night. I was at a homeowners association meeting in my own neighborhood, and we were all met, and they actually had the county assessor come, because in my neighborhood, the values have skyrocketed, okay? And the values had gone way up. And I was just sitting quietly. The county assessor was talking about what can you do to appeal, and what can you do here, and what can you do there. And she left, the county assessor left, and then, of course, the homeowners association was talking amongst themselves. And again, I was just remaining quiet, just sitting there. And finally somebody says, well, Dustin, you're an appraiser, aren't you? And I said, I am. And they said, well, what do you think? Should we appeal? And I said, honestly, I looked at my assessment, and I happen to know a little bit about what's going on in our neighborhood and a little bit about what's going on with my own home, and I don't think I would touch that with a 10-foot pole. Well, why not? What do you think? Don't you think they've gone up? Well, yeah, they've gone up. But if you've got an assessment at, I'm just going to throw out hypothetical numbers. If you've got an assessment at $600,000 for a house that is worth really on the market $900,000, there's really no reason to appeal. well, do you think our houses are worth that much more than the assessed value? And I said, I absolutely do. Yeah, I'm looking at the neighborhood in general, and I don't know what all of your assessment notices look like, but I know what mine look like, and I know for a fact that my house is worth more than what's on that assessment. Even though it's about twice as much as it was last year, it literally is. It went up, I think, 87% over 1 year. I kid you not. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But that being said, I also know that the real values went up even more than that, well over 100% in 1 year. That's no joke. And so the idea that to be there, to interact, right? That was a touch. Now, I didn't solicit myself. I didn't say, hey, anybody need in fact, quite the opposite. They were ready to hire me to do some type of an appraisal that they could take to the county and say, hey, see this? And I talked them out of it, right? This is really not a good idea, folks. Trust me, I don't want to waste your time and your money because pretty likely my appraisal for market value is going to be higher than the assessed value. But the opportunity to touch, if you will, someone else, to get out there, to get known. For a moment, I was on a stage. For a moment, the spotlight was on me. And for a moment, I had an opportunity to answer questions from a knowledge standpoint, from a place of, hey, I kind of know a little bit about what's going on in the neighborhood, okay? And when someone needs an appraisal down the road, I would hope that they would call me up and remember that conversation. Remember, you know what? He seemed to know what he was talking about. Right? These opportunities arise frequently, and introverts like myself, we like to kind of slink into the corner and not, put ourselves out there. But I also have learned over the years that it's an awesome and perfect opportunity to shine. It's a perfect opportunity to step out and say, hey, here's what's going on, and here's why I know what I know, and here's what our company does that might be a little bit different than others. Speaking of other companies that are just a little bit different than others, let's talk a little bit about OREP. OREP Insurance, folks, is much different than many others out there. And I know you're saying, well, Dustin, I don't care. I mean, every year I'm going to renew with the same company I was at before. Folks, I would encourage you to rethink that, okay? I would encourage you to take a look at OREP's page, orep.org, and find out the benefits that I guarantee that you're not getting with your current company. I would also encourage you to shop around. Next time your renewal comes up, just do an experiment. Go back to the same company and say, hey, what's it going to cost me this year to get the same coverage? And then take that deck sheet and run it past OREP. Say, what can you do for me this year? I can pretty much guarantee you they're going to beat the price. Why? Because they can shop that around to everybody. It's orep.org, OREP.org. Automotive, of course, is the software that almost everybody's using. There's a reason, folks. There's a reason that they continue to shine as the best out there. I'll tell you, folks, the features that you get from Alamode are incredible. Let's just talk about one. I talked a little bit about it earlier, right? Mobile. I cannot tell you how much mobile sketching and mobile data gathering and mobile photos and labeling have helped me over the years. And I know there's still a few of you out there say, yeah, the pencil and the paper, that's the way to get. Folks, trust me when I say the time saving and the quality is going to be incredibly increased when you use Alamode Mobile. There's so many other things that Alamode does. Find out more by going to alamode.com or 800 Alamode. Finally, we are sponsored by a great new company, a new sponsor here, not a new company, but a new sponsor here. And the company and the product is Spark. Spark for Appraisers, SPARKFOR appraisers.com is where you go. Folks, what is Spark? Spark is the opportunity to save you time. When you save time, you save money. Okay, it's the opportunity to take the county data, the MC sheet, the comps that you choose, okay, Spark does not choose the comps for you, and import it right into your report, regardless of what other software you use. If you don't use Alamode, that's okay. Spark will still work for you. Not only that, it comes with a myriad of different things as well, including market trends, showing you exactly what's going on in your market so you have an opportunity as an appraiser, as an expert, to analyze that data. Check them out by going to sparkforappraisers.com. Again, sparkforappraisers.com. And welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out, talking about touches today, talking about marketing, talking about, well, let's actually talk about this for just a little bit and talk about what's going on in the market, because the title of today's episode is Now More Than Ever You Should Be Touching Your Clients, right? Now more than ever. What does that mean, Dustin? Well, let's just step back for just a second and talk about what has happened to the appraisal industry over the last several months, right? You had the early 2021 where things were still quite high, lots of purchasing going on, interest rates were low, lots of refinancing going on, and then you had the interest rates in about 4 weeks jump at least a point, and then they went up even further from there. Over a period of about 4 months, we saw interest rates go from really the high twos, like 2.9, maybe 3%, to over 6, okay, is what we're seeing. And that changes people, right? That changes the decisions that they might be making. That changes the mortgage applications, which we saw drop over 60%, okay, in that same time period. And rightfully so, right? That's kind of the purpose of what the Feds were getting at, right? They're seeing inflation, they're raising the interest rates, they're hoping to slow things down just a little bit on the housing side, and it starts to switch people's mindset, okay? So now you've got an opportunity to say, okay, where are we? What's going on? Now, we have definitely dropped in volume a little bit at our office, but I will say moving forward, right? There's a lot of things that we're doing that is a little bit different than what our competition is doing. And as a consequence, we still feel like in many cases, we are the go-to company when appraisals need done. And I've talked about this before. You know, if you've got a hypothetical lender, say doing 10 loans that need appraisals a day. Okay, let's just hypothetically say that there's a lender in your area that does 10 appraisals a day. That does not necessarily mean that if they have 10 appraisers that each one of them gets one appraisal each. That's not how it works. Typically, they give as many as they dare to a certain appraiser or two that they trust, that they know the fees are right, the turn times are good, the quality is good, that they can trust them, that there's good communication, they're not going to ghost them. You know, that's who gets the majority of the work, and then they might spatter and sprinkle a few of the leftovers out there amongst others, right? They can't be seen as going to the one person all the time. It looks funky to the regulators, right? But they still would love to get all of their business to those that do good business with them. Those that are known and those that are known as the expert. And so, folks, that's why I say now more than ever, it is time to realize that you can't just wait for your fax machine to ring. Okay? If you're still in this mode of sitting there with that fax machine in the corner, gathering dust and spider webs and hoping that someday it will ring again, you're in the wrong mode. This is the time more than ever to be active and out there. And I make it a point on a frequent basis to reach out to not just local lenders, but also national AMCs as well. I know what you're thinking, Dustin. That's different. You never get the same person when you call an AMC. You always deal with a robot. You always did. Okay, folks, I'm telling you, trust me when I say this, right? There are people behind the phones at AMCs. There are people behind the orders at AMCs, just like there are at local banks. And if you can find out who that go-to person is in your area, who is the vendor manager, who is in charge of delivering the engagement letters to our area, right? If you can find that person and constantly touch that person, if you will, and make sure that they know you're there, you're going to have a great experience, okay? Let me share with you, I mentioned before the break, that email is probably the least most effective way to reach out and get eyes and get people reading and get people interacting, okay? Probably the least effective touch, if you will. That may be true, unless you use another tool called BombBomb. And by the way, there's a couple of competitors out there as well. Yes, I did say bomb as in explosion. BombBomb.com. Okay, it is something that we use here at my office, and I would highly recommend and encourage that you use it in your office as well. What is it? It's an opportunity to just do a quick video, maybe a 1 to 2 minute video that you could shout out to whoever. Hey, Mike, thanks for the order this morning. Really appreciate being able to be the go-to appraiser on 123 Any Street. Just wanted to let you know that I got it. Just wanted to let you know that I'm going to turn it. We will have it back long before the due date, and thank you for your continued business. You send that out to Mike. It's different than a regular email. Okay, when he pops it open, he sees kind of a preview that pops up on his screen, the opportunity for him to click on that and go, oh, wow, this is customized to me, right? This is kind of cool. In the world that we live in, where we don't, unfortunately, interact that often with people one-on-one, this is an awesome opportunity for you to share and to, quote-unquote, touch your clients. Now more than ever, it is needed. Now more than ever, folks, we need you at the All-Star Team. If you've not experienced the All-Star Team, I highly recommend that you give it a shot. Okay, it's $49 a month. Comes with a plethora of opportunity. We're talking about a monthly meeting with me. It's about a 2-hour meeting. It's absolutely incredible. The value received in those meetings is timely. Let's put it that way. Micro-mentoring, the opportunity for you to be coached one-on-one with me, no extra cost. The private Facebook group, the newsletter that comes out in a digital and an audio version, and so much more. Check us out. Go to theappraisercoach.com/memberships. We'll see you there.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star Team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
This is an awesome opportunity for you to find opportunities to share and to enjoy. Sorry, editor.